Hey everyone, great to join you for a little bit of meditation today. Very much looking forward to this. It's the middle of the day for me. Could definitely use a little break. It's been a busy week, so hopefully the same is true for you. So my name is Cortland Dahl. I'm a scientist at the Center for Healthy Minds at the University of Wisconsin here in Madison. And I'm also the Chief Contemplative Officer for Healthy Minds Innovations, which is the nonprofit that translates the scientific research that we do at the center into tools to measure and cultivate well-being. So I'd love to hear a bit from you. If you want to chime in on the chat, say where you're joining from, maybe how your day is going. Would love to hear from you. So feel free to say a few words in the chat if you'd like to do that. And as we get started here, I'll just say a few words about what you can expect today, a little bit about some of the science that underlies the meditations that we do. So many of you who watch this, you probably know that a lot of what we do is based on a scientific model of well-being, a scientific framework that focuses on four key pillars of well-being. These pillars can be trained. They're really skills, you could think of them as, and they're not only vital for well-being, they're actually vital for resilience. Not only the resilience of our mind, they're vital for our physical health even. There's just really fascinating research in this area. So the shorthand for these four pillars is awareness, connection, insight, and purpose. Each of these four pillars can be trained. Each of these four pillars not only impacts our well-being, but actually there are networks in the brain that underlie the training of these four pillars. So when you train your mind through things like meditation, as we're going to do in a few minutes here, you actually are beginning to change the way your brain functions. You're strengthening circuits in your brain that support well-being. So today I thought we could do a little bit of meditation that is specifically focused on this unique historical moment we're having, where we've just had this nightmare of the last year with the pandemic. So much change, so much suffering, so much loss. This has just been likely one of the hardest times that we will face as a species for many of us in our lifetimes, or certainly one of the most difficult periods. But hopefully we're turning the corner. This is the spring, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the spring. And this is a time of rebirth. It's a time to see what we've learned from this past year and to look forward to this new season where hopefully things will shift in a more positive direction. So it's great to hear from you. A few of you in the chat. Looks like we've got Jess joining from here in Madison. Hey, Jess, and others of you from other places. So again, to go back to this basic scientific idea here, we can train the mind to be more resilient, and we can train the mind to truly thrive and to flourish when things are going well by learning these skills and applying them in everyday life. So in the practice we're going to do now, we're actually going to use a few different skills based on this scientific framework I mentioned. And we're going to practice a little bit with awareness, which is the first pillar, and then also with connection, insight, and purpose. So we'll get a little bit of each of these flavors, so to speak. We'll practice each of these skills, but specifically kind of really focusing on how we can learn what we need to learn from this past year and come into this new period where some of us are getting vaccinated or maybe have been vaccinated, and things are starting to open up. So let's do this. Let's practice together. Go ahead and get comfortable. If you're new to meditation, I'll walk you through a few steps here. If you're an old pro, you can just do whatever your normal routine is. But usually we start with our posture. So let's begin there. You want to find a posture that is comfortable. You want to be upright. Oftentimes sitting is really helpful. If you have physical challenges, you can always lie down. But find a posture that helps you be both upright and alert, but most importantly, that allows you to relax. You can gently close your eyes if you find that natural, or you can relax your gaze a bit. And notice how your body feels in this moment. Notice the feeling of your feet on the floor. Notice the sensation of your hands resting on your lap or on your thighs. Now take a few slow, deep, calming breaths. And as you do this, notice the sensations of your breath. Notice how it feels to breathe. And when it feels natural to do so, you can let your breathing return to its normal pace. And for the next few moments, continue to rest your awareness very gently on the sensations of your breath. Again, there's no need to focus, no need to concentrate intensely. This is almost effortless. Just notice the very fact that you are breathing right now and what that feels like. Now, gently expand your awareness to the world of the senses. Notice what you hear. Notice some of the subtlety of the sounds in your environment, some of the little things you wouldn't pick up on when you're not paying much attention. You can just use sound, use this act of hearing as a support for mindful awareness. And now take a moment to completely let go and rest. You don't even need to pay attention to your breath or to what you're hearing. You don't need to do anything, actually. Nothing with your body, nothing with your mind. Just be completely natural and just rest for a few moments. And now, still retaining this sense of effortless presence without applying too much mental effort for this next part of the meditation, think back over this past year. If you're like me and many others around the world, there's probably a lot that has changed, a lot of that has happened. And see if you can find amidst all the challenges something that you are grateful for, something that you appreciate that you encountered over this past year. So just let your mind roam and see if you can find something or even a few things to be grateful for and appreciate that have happened over this past year. If it helps, you can even give voice to this in your mind. You can think to yourself, I am so very grateful that this person was in my life. I'm so very grateful that this particular thing happened. So you can use words or even images, whatever helps you connect with that sense of appreciation and gratitude. Just let your mind roam, get creative, see what you notice. And now see if you can bring this attitude of gratitude and appreciation into what is to come over these next months, over the following year. So let your mind now move forward. Again, this kind of attitude of rebirth, of regeneration. How might you bring appreciation? How might you bring gratitude into your life today or this week or even further out, even over the coming month or two? So again, think of specific people, specific things you might be doing, and bring in this optimistic, hopeful attitude and how you might infuse your life with gratitude. So get specific here. Think of specific people, specific times, and again, explore and see what you find. And before we move on to the next step, see if you can distill this exploration of gratitude and appreciation into one clear intention for your life. So even if it's something very simple, set a clear intention to bring gratitude into an interaction, a relationship, an activity, and set that intention to express that some way. It might be letting somebody know that you really care about them, that you're grateful for them, or that you appreciate them. Could be anything, but just set a clear intention. And when you feel ready, let's take a break. This was a strategy related to the pillar of connection. Let's just return to awareness for a few moments. Bring awareness back into your body, to your breath, or if you prefer, to what you hear. And just notice how you feel. Notice what's going on in this moment without any judgment or expectation. Instead, with an attitude of curiosity and openness. Okay, and now let's move on to a different approach, a different skill, which is the skill of self inquiry, which strengthens insight, the third pillar in the Healthy Minds framework. So, as we did before, look back over this past year, but this time, look back and see if you can find something that you have learned. It could be something related to self discovery, some way in which you've grown, something that you have learned about yourself or about the world. So again, just look back over this past year, but now with an attitude of curiosity and this question of what have I learned and how have I grown over this past year. So here it is the question and the willingness to look and examine that is important here, not arriving at the perfect answer. So you could find anything here. Maybe you notice that you have learned not to take things for granted that you might have easily overlooked in the past, or you've learned something about your values or what's important to you. So again, it could be anything. Just ask the question, what have I learned? Well, how has this adversity helped me to grow? And see what you find. And when you feel ready, as we did before, you now can carry this forward as we move into a new season. And hopefully, we'll be leaving some of these challenges behind. How can we carry this attitude of learning, this attitude of growth and self discovery, of self knowledge? How might you carry this forward? The lessons that you've learned, and perhaps even just viewing yourself as a growing, learning organism. So get specific here. Think of situations you might encounter, relationships, challenges you might face. How can you view all of this through the lens of self inquiry and self discovery? And now for the last part of this step, see if you can boil down what you have been thinking about, reflecting on here to something very simple. Almost as though you needed to distill what you've been thinking about into something you could share with a friend. What have I learned this year? How have I grown? How would you boil that down to a very simple statement? I think I have learned that I really need to take care of myself in difficult times, or I have learned not to take my health for granted. And it could be anything. Just see if you can distill this down to something simple. And when you feel ready, you can shift back into awareness and notice how you feel. There's no right or wrong feeling to be having right now. So whether you feel tense or relaxed, whether you feel uplifted or tired, just get curious and notice what that feels like. Bring awareness into your body and see what you find. And now let's move on to the final step here, which relates to purpose, the fourth pillar of well-being in the Healthy Minds framework. So this is probably familiar by now, but we'll do the same thing we did a few moments ago with connection and insight. Look back over this past year and all the challenges that you faced, everything that's happened, and see if you can find some core values or a deeper motivation or a deeper sense of purpose that has helped you get through this time. So it could be that friendship was a big part of this. It could be integrity or honesty. It could be hard work. It could be anything. Just look back over this past year and see if you can zero in on some of your core values and how they have really helped you get through this tough time and be more resilient. And if your mind has been roaming and exploring, see if you can zero in on one or two specific values or a specific guiding sense of purpose and just clarify that in your mind. You might even give voice to that. Say something like, it is super important to me to have close, caring friendships. It is super important to me to act with integrity. Again, whatever it is, just give voice to that and clarify for yourself. And when it feels like the right time to do so, you can look forward. How might you bring this value or this sense of purpose into your life these days or over the coming months and year? So you can think of specific interactions, relationships, specific activities. How might you infuse them with this value that you've just clarified for yourself? So get specific, think of specific people and places and activities, and set an intention to embody this important value in the midst of that activity or relationship. What might that actually look like? And now you can again connect with awareness if it feels like the right time to do that. This time, bring awareness back to your breath. Take a few slow, calming breaths as we did at the beginning. And notice the sensations as the air moves in and out of your body. Just bring awareness to this simple act of breathing. And now you can slowly open your eyes if they've been closed. You might want to move your body a bit if you've been still. Take a look around. Notice all of the richness and detail of the world around you. So what we just did was practice a series of skills. We practiced a few. We really had 4 steps there that all of which focus on skills. These are skills that you can learn and practice in daily life, and they strengthen these pillars of well-being. They strengthen awareness, connection, insight, and purpose. So the cool thing about meditation is that although we can practice in formal sessions like we just did now, and that could be really, really helpful, meditation is something you can really do anytime. You can do it no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. You don't have to go into a quiet room and light some candles and turn on some soft music. You can be walking down a busy street. If you are intentionally training your mind, you are meditating. So, right now, if you bring awareness to the feelings of your feet on the floor, you're meditating. You are intentionally regulating your attention. You're meditating. If right now you choose to bring your you choose to bring your awareness to something that you appreciate, you notice something that you like, a nice color or a sound or anything, again, in that moment, you're meditating. You're training your mind with intention. So having sessions like this where we do this for a set period of time, like we just did, can really help build the habit. Excuse me. But the real heart of meditation is applying it in short moments throughout your daily life. So take a few of these skills or even one of these skills and see if you can bring it forward into whatever you're going to do next in your day. So again, it could be appreciation or gratitude. It could be that attitude of self-discovery and self-inquiry, or coming back to a core value and infusing whatever you're doing and who you're with that sense of presence and that sense of awareness and attunement to a core value or principle. So it's really amazing, not only that we can do this, but that even these little moments of awareness or connection actually begin to change the way our brain is functioning. In the same way that having a good diet and exercising boosts our physical immune system, doing these short practices, short moments of appreciation and so on, they boost our mental immune system. So as we bring this to a close here, would love to hear if you want to just share a few words about anything that resonated with you or anything that came up for you as we were doing these practices. Feel free to mention something in the chat. I already, looks like a few of you might already be using the Healthy Minds app. So if for those of you who are new to this, if you found this helpful and you want to explore further, you can download the Healthy Minds program in your app store, whether you have an Android or an iPhone. It's completely free. There's no hidden subscriptions. It's completely free. So we really want this, the science and these practices to get out into the world. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. I've really enjoyed having a few minutes to connect and sit and meditate with you. And hopefully this will be the first of many times we can practice together. So take care, have a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.